If you're into fitness at all, you've definitely heard the debate. Is it all about counting calories, or do you need to be super meticulous about your macros? It's a question that can send you down a total internet rabbit hole, and you usually end up more confused than when you started. You've got keto, low fat, high carb. The advice feels endless, and honestly, a lot of it seems to contradict itself. It's so easy to feel like you're doing it all wrong. But here's the secret that cuts through all that noise. The right way to track your food, it isn't universal. It depends entirely on your specific fitness goal. So that's what we're going to do right now, create some clarity. We'll start with the basics, then we'll walk through 3 of the most common goals: pure weight loss, building muscle, and that really tricky one, reshaping your body. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll know exactly what you need to be focusing on. Okay, so before we can build out your personal plan, we need to get on the same page. Let's quickly define our terms. What exactly are macros and calories, and how do they even relate to each other? It sounds super technical, but it's actually really straightforward. Macros is just a shorter, cooler way of saying macronutrients. Think of them as the 3 main fuel sources for your body. You've got protein, carbohydrates, and fats. That's it. And here's the light bulb moment, the key connection. Calories don't just appear out of thin air. They come from the macros you eat. Protein and carbs, they each give you about 4 calories for every single gram. Fat, on the other hand, is a bit more energy dense, so it gives you 9 calories per gram. This means that when you're counting your macros, you are, by definition, also counting your calories. You're just doing it with a little more detail. Okay, let's tackle our first goal. Let's say your number 1 priority is simple. You just want the number on the scale to go down. If that sounds like you, I have some really good news. Your strategy is incredibly straightforward. You only need to track 2 things: your total calories and your protein. Let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. Fat loss comes down to one non-negotiable rule: a calorie deficit. You have to consume fewer calories than your body burns. End of story. But while that deficit is the king, protein is its most powerful partner. It's the secret weapon that makes sticking to that deficit not just possible, but actually effective. So why is protein so crucial? Well, it works its magic in 3 powerful ways. First, your body actually burns more calories just digesting protein compared to carbs or fat. It's a nice little metabolic boost. Second, and this is a big one, it keeps you feeling full and satisfied, which is key for crushing the hunger that can totally derail your diet. And third, it helps protect your precious muscle mass. This ensures you're losing fat, not just weight, and helps you avoid that dreaded skinny fat look. So what's the actual target? A great rule of thumb is to aim for somewhere between 0.7 to 1.0 grams of protein per pound of your goal body weight. So let's say your goal is to weigh 150 pounds. You'd be shooting for somewhere between 105 and 150 grams of protein every day. See? Suddenly, all that confusing tracking noise just simplifies down to 2 numbers: your total calories and your protein target. But what if your goal isn't weight loss at all, but muscle gain? This is where the game changes a bit. To build muscle as efficiently as possible, we need to get a little more granular. And this is where tracking all 3 macros, your protein, your carbs, and your fats, becomes a really powerful tool. Think about it like this. You can't build a house without extra bricks. And in the same way, you can't build new muscle tissue without extra energy. That means you need to be eating in a calorie surplus. The real trick, though, is to make sure those extra bricks go towards building muscle, not towards fat storage. And that's exactly where dialing in your macros is so incredibly key. In a surplus, each macro has a very specific job. Protein, that's your non-negotiable building block for muscle repair. Carbs are like the high-octane fuel for your workouts, and your body loves to store them right in your muscles, not as fat. And fats are essential for your hormones and overall health, but they're also the easiest macro for your body to store as, well, body fat. This is why for lean gains, the winning formula is almost always higher protein and higher carbs to fuel performance, with just enough fat to stay healthy. All right, now for the holy grail of fitness goals. This is the one everybody asks about: body recomposition. This is the magic of losing fat and building muscle at the very same time. So, can it actually be done? Is this real? The answer is a definite yes. But, and this is a big but, it comes with a major asterisk. It works like an absolute charm for certain people, but it's not some magic bullet that advanced lifters can just rely on forever. You are in a prime position for body recomposition if you fall into one of these 3 camps. One, if you're new to a real strength training program, your body just responds incredibly quickly. The same is true if you're just getting back to it after a long break. And finally, if you're starting with a good amount of body fat to lose, your body can actually use that stored energy to fuel muscle growth even while you're in a calorie deficit. But what about that classic skinny fat scenario? This is where you don't really have a lot of weight to lose on the scale, but you're just not happy with your body composition. You want less fat and more muscle definition. What's the plan then? For this skinny fat dilemma, you've got two main paths. If your main concern is some stubborn belly fat, your focus should be a slight calorie deficit paired with high protein. But if you're already relatively lean and you just want more definition to tone up, then eating at maintenance calories while still prioritizing that high protein intake is your best bet to build that muscle without gaining unwanted fat. So, does body recomp mean you have to track every single macro? Absolutely not. Just like with pure weight loss, your foundation is your calories and your protein. Think of tracking carbs and fats here as an optional turbo boost. It can definitely help optimize the process, but it's not essential to get the engine started. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's pull all of this together into a super simple cheat sheet you can use to build your own personal tracking plan. So let's just boil it all down. For pure weight loss or for body recomposition, your winning combination is simple. Focus on your calories and your protein. The only time you really need to get granular with all three macros is when your specific goal is to maximize muscle gain while in a surplus. It's really that straightforward. And this right here is without a doubt the most important takeaway. We can talk about perfect plans all day long, but a perfect plan that you only follow for 3 days is useless. The best plan is the one you can actually stick with, whether that means tracking just calories and protein or all three macros. The secret to your success is not perfection, it is consistency. Find what works for your life and do that day in and day out.